It's already June and I don't have an internship or research position or anything set up. What am I gonna do this summer? How am I gonna get an internship next semester? What am I gonna do? My life. Hello world, it's Becoming Her. We're the channel where I talk about all things computer science. A little bit of background on me. I am a rising senior at Carnegie Mellon University. I'm a computer science major, and over the last 3 years, I've just kind of been figuring out how to be a computer science major, what things do we do, how do you apply to internships, all that fun stuff, and I'm going to be sharing all of that with you guys here on this channel. So I'm super excited for you to join me. We're going to be getting into what things you guys should be doing this summer to help prepare yourself for getting that internship or that job next summer. It's not too late at all. Setting yourself up for success. It's the beginning of the summer. You got this. Let's dive right into it. We are a CS channel and everybody knows that counting starts at 0. Come on, guys. Number 0, personal projects. The summer is a great time to do some personal project. Maybe you have some retail job or whatever. You can do that over the summer and also work on a personal project. The reason why I put this as the first thing on my list to do is because recruiters really value personal projects if you don't have any experience. Like, it's the second thing that they look for aside from some sort of previous experience. And that is because that shows initiative, that you can work on something from beginning to the end and you have the drive to do it. You're not doing this for a grade or something. You're doing it because you're curious and you're pushing yourself. It's a great show of your skills. It can show your curiosity, your work ethic. So personal projects are definitely something that you should be looking into this summer with all this time that you have. And it's also an amazing way to kind of explore a different area of computer science that maybe you haven't really been able to touch yet. Maybe these are classes that you haven't really gotten to and you're interested in ML. This is a great chance to code up your own neural network or create your own application or something like that. There are a million different things you can do for a personal project. Definitely take this time to look into that. You have 3 months of summer, and by the end of this, you should have a nice project on your resume, ready to talk about, ready to show off your skills. It's just kind of a must, guys. You can follow all these tutorials. There are lots of different things online that you can look for. Actually, comment below if you want me to talk about some personal project topics that would interest you, get your ideas flowing. I would love to do that. The one thing about personal projects is that it needs a lot of self-discipline. It's really easy to just procrastinate, be like, oh, I still have 3 months to do it. It's not a big deal. Before you know it, it's 2 weeks until school starts and you're like, oh, I need to grind out a personal project right now and work 24 hours a day. That's not a good idea. Really hard to make a nice project on a short timeline. So take advantage of the fact that you have 3 months right now. These projects should be a little bit complicated. You should be planning to spend 2 to 3 weeks working on it for a few hours every single day. This certainly should be a priority, and I want you to try to work it into your schedule. That way everything turns out nice. That brings me to number 1. Hackathons and coding competitions. Because you procrastinate, you're like, oh, I can't be trusted to do my own personal project. I see you. You should still do it, but I see you. I think that signing up for hackathons or coding competitions is a great way to motivate yourself, because with a hackathon, you're basically forced to come up with some sort of project within a 24 or 48 hour deadline. And so you know you're gonna be working because you have that time pressure and because you know you wanna win the hackathon. Same thing for the coding competition. You're going to be honing in your skills on programming and your thinking skills and really still keep training yourself and not get lazy over the summer. This is kind of like a kick in the butt for you to make sure that you go out there and do it. I personally really love hackathons. I find that it really is an easy way to make sure that you get a lot of projects onto your resume. Lots of companies have hackathons all year round. I'm sure you can probably find something to sign up for. I'll be coming out with a Hackathon 101 sort of video. How do you find ideas? How do I find a team? Who do I work with? What should we be doing? Should we actually be coding for 48 hours straight? I will be covering all of those things soon, so make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. That way you'll know when I come out with my hackathon video. That brings us to number 2, open source projects. Contribute to some open source project. TensorFlow, V8, Golang are all open source projects that a lot of people use. Go and contribute to something that already has like a big user base, and you don't have to work for a company or anything to do this. It's a great thing to put on your resume saying that you contributed to blank blank open source project. And it's also a great opportunity for you to learn how these work, deep dive into one of these projects that you're really interested in. It's a great opportunity to show that you're curious and you're driven and that you can parse through all of these different wikis or documentation and be able to piece things together enough to actually contribute something to things that people actually use. Next up is number 3, summer classes. Go on MIT's OpenCourseWare and take some classes in niche areas that maybe you wouldn't get the chance to do at your school. Explore some areas that you wouldn't be able to get to explore during the school year. Watch some of these lectures from these world-class professors, especially now universities have probably recorded their lectures and have them on their websites. And so if you go digging around, you can basically take world-class level classes for free right now. So you don't have the pressure of getting a great grade or doing the homeworks even. Maybe it's just watching the lectures, possibly taking notes, or just not at all. Maybe you just sit there and revel in all of the material. It makes learning a little bit more fun. It makes things more interesting. It's a great time to up your level by looking at these classes online over the summer while you have time. All right, moving on to number 4, volunteer. You are probably a college student who has some CS classes under their belt, or maybe you're a high school student who's taken AP/CS or some web design classes. You can totally volunteer and put that on your resume. Say that you worked with a small business or you worked with a local group and you made them a website, or you made them an app, or you helped them develop something. Make sure that you continue honing in on your skills so that you don't get rusty. And when it comes to the fall, you don't completely forget how to program whatsoever. Some people can't afford to pay for the skills that you have, and so you can go and volunteer and make a project for people. This is kind of along the lines of a personal project. You're doing it for a community and you're helping other people out, and that's really cool and probably gives you some brownie points to those recruiters. Coming into number 5, LeetCode. For those of you who don't know what LeetCode is, like, what is she talking about? LeetCode is basically a website that if you like algorithms and data structures practice problems, the type of things that you'll see on your technical interviews when you actually are applying for these internships and jobs. You'll have to pass all these rounds of technical interviews, and in order to do that, you want to practice the types of problems that they'll give you, which are LeetCode type problems or HackerRanks or Code Forces. Those are all websites that achieve the same thing. They just throw a bunch of practice problems at you and you just practice solving them. These kind of tools will not help you get your interview. You can't really put it on your resume, but it'll help you pass your technical interviews. This is basically the key to passing your interviews. Speaking of which, I will definitely be making videos on how to pass your technical interviews from experience, what to do, what not to do, what are the things that you should keep in mind, how should you study. All of that stuff. Keep your eyes peeled. Again, remember to subscribe and click the notification bell if you want to hear tips on that type of stuff. Don't just be like, oh, I'm gonna LeetCode for the last 2 weeks of summer. Don't do that. You want to basically do 1 problem per day. It doesn't matter, maybe 1 to 2 problems per day, maybe like an easy and a medium. And if you do this every single day over the summer, you're gonna have a lot of LeetCode problems under your belt. You're probably gonna be acing those interviews pretty easily. So practice makes perfect. In the beginning, you're probably going to be pretty slow, but eventually you're going to get a hold of it. You want to get into your medium to hard LeetCodes because that's what most companies that you're probably aiming for, like the large tech companies and the banks, they're probably going to be throwing intermediate to kind of hard LeetCode questions at you. So that's where your goal is. You want to be able to solve that type of stuff within half an hour, and the summer is a great time to practice. Again, something that takes a bit of self-discipline. The best way to kind of prepare for these interviews is to actually have been doing LeetCode long term. You don't really want to cram for these things. You have the stress of trying to pass your interviews, probably on top of the fact that classes are ramping up again in the fall. It's just not a good thing overall. So you want to be prepared, have a solid foundation. So do LEAP code. And last but not least, take care of yourself. And you're like, why are you talking about taking care of myself in this video that's supposed to be about making sure you land your next internship next year? Because health is really important, guys. I know we're like generally college kids or like high school kids and super stressed out all the time. You probably have a whack sleep schedule, especially in the summer. You're like, well, it's the summer now. I can actually go to bed at 5 a.m. and I will have zero repercussions except for your health. I know, it's easy to play games until really late in the morning, but then you kind of feel really crappy during the day. So the summer is a great time for you to get some exercise in. I know it's really hard. We've all been at home. Even if you're not gonna go anywhere this summer, it's still a really good idea to learn how to cook, get your sleep schedule on check, learn some self-discipline, guys. It's a big deal. It might not necessarily be something that you can write on your resume, but it can be something that you can put into hobbies. You never know. Recruiters can sometimes be like, oh, I do this activity too, or this person seems really balanced and healthy, and that's a good thing because the company is going to be hiring you as a person, and you can only do your best work when you feel good about yourself, when you feel healthy. And also when the school year comes, you're going to be really stressed out, and the best way to prepare yourself for flu season, which we all know goes around every single fall, there's always freshman flu and infects like the entire university. So the best way to prepare yourself for that is to make sure that you have healthy habits right now, and it's the summer, which means you can really hone in on ingraining these kind of things to be good habits for you so that you'll be healthy during the school year and for the rest of your life. It's a big deal, guys. Make sure that you're healthy and happy, and especially if you are a freshman, you finished freshman year, or if you are a high school senior going into college, just take it easy over the summer. You do not have to have an internship right now. It's good to be preparing for internships for next year. You know, you've got time. Take it easy, relax, build healthy habits. Honestly, it's probably for the best. Alright guys, if you liked all of those tips, make sure to subscribe below and click the notification bell for more. I will be coming up with so many videos on what you guys should be doing. A lot of these tips I've learned the hard way, so I'm trying to make sure that you guys don't have to. I'm really excited for you guys to join me on this new journey, and that is Becoming Her, signing out.